Morning, grade 8. This is the memo discussion of exercise 2 of T accounts. Let's see how it went. Right, on the first transaction says the owner gave a personal check as a financial contribution. Remember, the transaction always is you need to figure out if this business is getting money or spending money. If the owner gives us a personal check, it means the business is receiving money, which means that the money in the bank will increase. Bank being an asset, remember, we've done the list of assets from the start of the year. Being an asset, bank will increase on the debit side and decrease on the credit side. So the date 2019, September the 1st, 950,000. Then the owner giving her financial contribution means she's giving her capital. The contra will then be capital, which means that you need to open a capital account. Capital increases on the credit side, decreases on the debit side. If the owner gives her capital, it means that her share in the business will increase. And if the share in the business increases, you write on the credit side of capital. Remember, date is given, the first 950,000 Rand, and inside capital you need to write the name of the other account concerned, and bank was the other account concerned. Double entry principle says every debit entry must have a credit entry somewhere else. Debit entry in the bank account, credit entry in the capital account. The next transaction on the 5th, we issued a check in payment of the building board. If we buy, we are spending. If we spend, it means the money inside the bank will decrease. Bank being an asset decreases on the credit side. On the 5th, 75,000, we bought land and buildings, which means the other account concerned is land and buildings. Land and buildings is an asset. You know that we started with this at the beginning of the year. An asset increases on the debit side, decreases on the credit side. If you buy a building, land and buildings will increase. So you write on the debit side of land and buildings the date and the amount. Contra is bank. There is the bank account. Once again, double entry principle. One account was the credit, the other account was the debit. On the 9th, we purchased the following and paid with a check. We bought a typewriter and a computer. Both of these two machines are equipment, which means that you will write in the equipment account. And because you are buying it with one check, it's not paid per checks but paid per check, you will need to add the two amounts to see how much money you are spending. Again, spending money, bank being an asset will decrease. On the 9th, in total it's 8,600 and we are buying equipment. You need to write in the contra account. The contra is equipment. Equipment is an asset, remember. I'm just going to write asset out so in case you forget. Equipment increases because we are buying equipment. Equipment increases on the debit side because equipment is an asset. Bank decreases because we're spending money. Once again, double entry principle says every debit needs a credit. The next transaction on the 5th, cash received for services rendered. We are receiving money, which means that our money will increase. If the money increases, it means the money in the bank is going to increase. Bank being an asset increases on the debit side. It will decrease on the credit side. On the 12th, we received money for current income, 2530. Other account concerned is current income. Current income, as the name tells you, is an income. Increases on the credit side, decreases on the debit side. If you receive money, the current income increases. Double entry principle, one account must be a debit, the other one be a credit. On the 15th, we bought cleaning materials to be used during the rendering of services, and we paid with a check. If we pay per check, we're spending. If we spend, it means the money in the bank is going to decrease. So that is why I write on the credit side of bank on the 15th, 745, and we are buying consumable stores. Name of the other account concerned will be consumable stores. The date, remember it is an expense. I'm just going to write EXP for expense. Expense increase on the debit side, decreases on the credit side. So consumable stores be an expense. Increases if we buy more consumable stores on the debit side of consumable stores. Double entry principle means every debit needs a credit. There is the credit inside the bank account, the debit in consumable stores. Next action, on the 18th, we paid the owner's private telephone account. Anything of the owner is called drawings. We are paying in the bank account on the 18th. Money in the bank will decrease, and it's decreasing because of drawings. Name of the other account concerned is drawings. Drawings increases on the debit side, decreases on the credit side. The money the owner takes increases his drawings. So on the debit side of drawings, the date, the amount, and the money came from the bank. Again, every debit needs to have a credit. Here is the debit. Can you see? You've debited drawings. There is the credit. You've credited bank account. Double entry principle says every debit needs a credit. Next instruction, on the 22nd, the owner took a cash check for own use. So the owner is taking money again. On the 22nd, spending money, so bank will be credited on the 22nd. Money the owner takes is called drawings. We're going to write in the drawings account again. On the 22nd, money came from the bank. The owner took 250 Rand. Double entry principle. Here is the debit. There's the credit. Then on the 25th, the tenant paid the rent per check. If the tenant pays the rent per check, we receive money. If we receive, don't forget, means money inside bank will increase. Bank being an asset will increase on the debit side. So on the debit side, on the 25th, we have 2,500, and we receive this because of rent income, which means that the other account concerned will be rent income. Rent income, as the name tells you, is an income, increases on the credit side, decreases on the debit side. On the 25th, money is in the bank, 2,500. Double entry principle. Bank has been debited, rent income was credited. Then this transaction on the 26th is a difficult one to understand because you need to read carefully. The owner decreased her capital by taking a check. Taking a check means the business is spending money. If the business spends money, bank being an asset will decrease on the credit side. The date is the 26th. The owner took 5,000 Rand. Why did she take it? Because she wants to decrease her capital. So I need to write capital inside the bank account. Now you also know that whatever you write in contra is the name of the other account concerned. So we have to write in the capital account. You know that capital increases on the credit side and decreases on the debit side. They tell you she's decreasing her capital. So capital decrease on the debit side, the date 5,000, and the money was taken from the bank. Double entry principle was applied because capital was your debit and bank is your credit. On the 29th, we bought the following: stationery and a printer. Stationery and a printer is not the same thing. So you now need to record this in 2 steps. First, we bought stationery, so money in the bank will decrease. Bank being an asset decreases on the credit side. Then you need to write in the stationery account. Stationery is an expense, as you know. If you buy more stationery, the expense will increases on the debit side. So for the stationery bought, you will credit bank and you will debit stationery. Then the printer is equipment. We just find a different color pen. Equipment we also bought on the 29th. If you buy, money in the bank will decrease, but now you need to write in the equipment account. Equipment is an asset, increases on the debit side. You bought equipment. So on the debit side of equipment, on the 29th, you will write bank and the amount. Double entry principle for both of these transactions, of these purchases, has been applied. Look there. But if you will credit bank and debit stationery and credit bank and debit equipment. The last transaction is paid the manager a monthly salary. We are paying again, so money in the bank will decrease. On the 30th, we are paying a salary, which means that we need to open a salaries account. Salary is an expense, remember, from the start of the year. If you spend money on salaries, the salaries will increase, expenses increase on the debit side. Grade 8, this is now the memo of exercise 2. Exercise 3 of T accounts is homework for next week and Tuesday. I hope you are all still fine and that you are doing well. Remember, your educator is really a WhatsApp or a phone call away if you need any assistance. Please stay safe. Keep good. We can't wait to see you again on the 3rd of August. Goodbye.